What if I told you there's one simple reason you're still broke, and it has nothing to do with talent, luck, or opportunities? Every day you wait, every excuse you make, every time you hesitate, you're giving away your future. What if the only thing standing between you and financial freedom is what you haven't done yet? Imagine taking one bold step today, applying the knowledge you already have, and refusing to let fear or distractions control your life. What could happen if, instead of waiting for the perfect moment, you focused on the one action that actually changes everything? In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal the single truth that separates the wealthy from the stuck and how you can fix it fast. Listen closely, because your breakthrough could start right now, and it might be simpler than you think. Lack of focus is one of the most overlooked reasons people remain financially stagnant, yet it silently drains their potential every single day. Imagine trying to fill a bucket with water while holes are scattered across the bottom. No matter how much water you pour in, it never accumulates. That is exactly what happens when your attention and effort are divided across too many directions. The mind can only handle a limited number of priorities effectively, and when energy is spread thin, progress is minimal. You might have 10 ideas, 10 dreams, or 10 side hustles, but without focusing on the one that has the highest potential, all of them struggle to reach completion. People often mistake being busy for being productive, but busy work is rarely aligned with results. Checking emails constantly, scrolling through social media, attending every meeting, and chasing every opportunity might create the illusion of activity, yet it rarely translates into wealth. The secret lies in identifying the single most impactful task, project, or goal that will move you forward financially and committing to it relentlessly until it yields tangible results. Distractions come in many forms, and many are self-imposed. The endless pursuit of what-ifs or the temptation to follow the latest trend pulls people away from building real value. In financial terms, this means jumping from one investment to another without fully understanding it, starting multiple businesses without dedicating time to master one, or constantly switching careers before gaining mastery. Every time attention shifts, momentum is lost. Momentum is the invisible force behind financial growth. Once focus is applied consistently, small actions compound into meaningful outcomes. Without it, even the best ideas, talents, or resources cannot produce results. Focus also requires clarity. When you lack a clear goal, even your best efforts scatter in random directions. People often work hard, but fail to see progress because they never define what success truly looks like. They might save money here, spend money there, or learn a bit about investing without a structured plan, hoping that something will eventually stick. Without clarity and focus, effort becomes wasted energy, and opportunities are overlooked. The mind works like a lens. Concentrated light produces heat, while diffused light barely warms anything. Similarly, concentrated effort on one financial priority produces exponential growth, while diffused effort produces negligible returns. Many fear focus because it feels like saying no to other possibilities. In reality, saying no is a form of financial self-respect. It protects time, energy, and resources so they can be applied to the opportunity that truly matters. Every distraction you allow dilutes your potential. Every half-finished project leaves money on the table. The sooner you accept that financial success is rarely about doing more, but about doing less with more intensity, the faster you'll begin to see results. Excuses are the silent thieves of opportunity, and nowhere is this more evident than in the way they block financial progress. Every excuse is a choice to delay action, a decision to hand over control of your life to circumstances instead of taking responsibility. People often tell themselves they are too young, too old, too inexperienced, too busy, or that the economy, the system, or other people are holding them back. While some obstacles are real, the difference between those who build wealth and those who remain broke lies in how they respond to challenges. Excuses are mental shortcuts that make inaction feel acceptable, giving a false sense of justification while life's opportunities pass by. When someone constantly blames external factors, they are essentially transferring their power to forces they cannot control, rather than focusing on the one thing they can control: their own effort, decisions, and persistence. Excuses often disguise themselves as logical reasoning, but their real function is avoidance. The person who says, "I don't have enough money to start investing," may be missing the reality that investing small amounts consistently produces more wealth over time than waiting for a perfect lump sum. The person who claims, "I don't have the time to start a side businesses," ignores the possibility of rearranging priorities using early mornings, late evenings, or weekend hours to make progress. The mind creates a story to protect itself from discomfort, fear, or uncertainty, but comfort never produces change. Excuses are comfort dressed as reasoning, and comfort is the enemy of financial growth. Moreover, excuses are contagious. When people surround themselves with others who validate their inaction, they reinforce habits that keep them broke. Social influence amplifies the impact of excuses because it makes avoidance feel normal, even intelligent. Listening to stories about why success is impossible, or believing the notion that certain opportunities are not for people like me, quietly trains the mind to accept mediocrity. Taking responsibility, on the other hand, demands courage, self-discipline, and the willingness to confront failure as a learning experience, rather than a reason to quit. Every person who has accumulated wealth knows that excuses delay action, but action, even imperfect, even flawed, is the only force that converts ideas into financial results. Excuses also waste time, and time is the most valuable resource for building wealth. Each moment spent rationalizing why you cannot take a step forward is a moment lost in building skills, connections, and capital. Action, by contrast, creates feedback loops. It teaches, corrects, and accelerates progress. Small steps executed consistently outweigh brilliant ideas left unimplemented. Wealth is rarely a product of luck. It is a product of consistent action and relentless responsibility. The more you catch yourself making excuses, the more critical it becomes to shift from justification to execution, from hesitation to deliberate movement, and from complaining to creating. Inconsistent habits are one of the most common reasons people remain stuck financially, yet they often go unnoticed because they hide behind good intentions. Many people want to save money, invest wisely, or grow their income, but their actions are sporadic and unstructured. They may create a budget one month and abandon it the next, or start learning about investing only to stop when it feels difficult. Habits are the building blocks of success, and inconsistency is the silent erosion of progress. Small, repeated actions compound over time, producing exponential results, but only if they are maintained consistently. Skipping days, weeks, or months might not feel harmful in the moment, but over years, the gaps in effort result in stagnation. Consistency is not about perfection, but about reliability. It is better to take small steps regularly than to attempt massive efforts irregularly. People often overestimate what they can achieve in one day and underestimate what consistent action produces over a long period. A person who invests 50% every month, no matter how small it seems, will likely see far more growth over 10 years than someone who waits to invest large sums sporadically. The principle is simple. Momentum builds through repetition. Without a consistent approach, even the best strategies fail to reach their potential. Habits also shape mindset. Consistency reinforces discipline, patience, and focus, while inconsistency encourages doubt, distraction, and procrastination. Each time a habit is neglected, confidence weakens, and the brain begins to rationalize inaction as acceptable. Over time, this creates a feedback loop in which stagnation feels normal and progress feels unnatural. People often wonder why they work hard but remain financially stagnant, unaware that their habits, not their effort, are the real problem. Wealth and success are rarely a matter of luck. They are the result of repeated behaviors executed faithfully, often without immediate reward. Another consequence of inconsistent habits is the loss of leverage. Knowledge, skills, and financial strategies require repeated application to produce results. Learning about money without applying it consistently leads to wasted potential. Reading countless books about investing, business, or productivity is useless if insights are never put into practice. Similarly, intermittent efforts in side businesses, freelancing, or skill development rarely lead to breakthroughs. The market rewards persistence, and small, continuous actions build credibility, experience, and opportunities that sporadic bursts cannot. Finally, Habits create identity. The person who consistently saves, learns, and invests begins to see themselves as capable and responsible, which reinforces further productive behavior. The person who acts inconsistently reinforces a self-image of being unreliable or uncommitted, which perpetuates stagnation. Habits are the silent architecture of life. The stronger and more consistent they are, the taller the structure of success becomes. Without regular, disciplined practices, even the most talented or knowledgeable individuals fail to move forward, remaining trapped in cycles of unfulfilled potential. Fear of failure is one of the most powerful obstacles keeping people from achieving financial success, yet it is rarely acknowledged openly because it hides behind rationalizations and self-doubt. People avoid risks, postpone decisions, and settle for comfort because the thought of failing feels threatening. Failure is often associated with embarrassment, loss, or judgment, and the mind naturally seeks to protect itself from these uncomfortable feelings. But what is often forgotten is that failure is not the enemy. It is the pathway to growth. Every successful person has failed countless times, and every failed attempt contains a lesson that brings them closer to a breakthrough. By avoiding failure, people also avoid learning, experimenting, and discovering what truly works. Fear of failure also distorts perception, making challenges appear larger and more insurmountable than they actually are. Individuals may look at a business opportunity, an investment, or a career change and convince themselves that the risks outweigh the potential benefits. They imagine worst-case scenarios, magnify uncertainties, and let anxiety paralyze action. The irony is that inaction carries its own risks. The loss of time, opportunity, and potential growth far exceeds the temporary discomfort of trying and failing. The world rewards those who act, adjust, and persist, not those who wait for guarantees. Each moment spent avoiding risk is a moment in which competitors, peers, or even strangers are moving ahead, compounding advantages, while hesitation keeps one stagnant. Fear of failure is often tied to ego and identity. People fear looking incapable or inadequate in the eyes of others, and they internalize mistakes as reflections of their worth rather than steps toward mastery. This mindset traps individuals in a cycle of overthinking and procrastination, creating a life of unfulfilled potential. The key to breaking this pattern lies in reframing failure as feedback rather than judgment. Every mistake provides information about what doesn't work and guides better decisions in the future. The sooner one becomes comfortable with failure, the sooner they can move freely, experiment boldly, and seize opportunities that others shy away from. Moreover, fear of failure leads to a preference for comfort over growth. People often cling to secure but limiting jobs, safe investments, or predictable routines because venturing into the unknown feels unsafe. Yet growth only occurs outside of comfort zones. Risk is unavoidable in any meaningful pursuit, whether it is learning a new skill, starting a business, or managing money strategically. Those who allow fear to dictate their choices miss out on experiences that could transform their financial life. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act despite it, and every courageous step compounds into confidence, capability, and results. Finally, fear of failure stifles creativity and innovation. When people are too cautious, they replicate what already exists instead of discovering what could be extraordinary. Wealth is often created by those willing to take calculated risks, challenge norms, and learn from mistakes quickly. Avoiding failure might feel safe, but it guarantees stagnation. The moment action is taken, without obsessing over perfection or outcomes, momentum begins to build, mistakes become lessons, and opportunities multiply, creating a trajectory that fear alone can never produce. Waiting for the perfect time is one of the most common traps that keeps people from taking control of their financial destiny, yet it is disguised as prudence or careful planning. Many individuals convince themselves that they need the right moment, the perfect resources, or flawless conditions before acting. They delay starting a business, investing in opportunities, or learning new skills because circumstances never feel ideal. The truth is that the perfect time rarely exists, and waiting for it becomes a lifelong habit that leads to missed chances and unfulfilled potential. Life moves forward regardless of readiness. And every day spent waiting is a day lost in building wealth, gaining experience, and achieving progress. The illusion of the perfect time is fueled by fear, uncertainty, and overthinking. People imagine worst-case scenarios, overanalyze decisions, and create conditions that feel safe before making a move. Yet safety is an illusion when it comes to growth. Financial success is rarely linear, and every journey involves uncertainty, mistakes, and adjustments along the way. Waiting for perfect timing ignores the fact that action is what creates clarity and opportunities. Often, the very act of starting, even imperfectly, produces momentum, feedback, and lessons that could never have been discovered while sitting idle. Waiting in anticipation of perfect conditions guarantees nothing except stagnation. Perfectionism also amplifies the sense of waiting. People believe they must have all the knowledge, skills, and resources before taking action. They consume endless content, attend countless seminars, or research endlessly, yet never apply what they learn. Knowledge without execution is useless, and preparation without action becomes procrastination disguised as planning. Those who succeed financially understand that taking imperfect action today is far more powerful than waiting for an ideal moment that may never come. Action compounds, creates opportunities, and allows for real-world adjustments that no theory or preparation can provide. Another hidden consequence of waiting is lost confidence. Every day of inaction reinforces self-doubt and fear, making it increasingly difficult to start later. Hesitation grows like a shadow, convincing the mind that waiting is necessary, while opportunities slip through fingers that could have acted. People often underestimate the power of starting small. Even incremental steps taken today create momentum and open doors that would remain closed if they waited for perfection. Financial growth is built on movement, no matter how small, repeated consistently over time. Additionally, waiting for the perfect time often leads to envy and comparison. Observing others taking risks, making progress, and achieving results while remaining stuck in the comfort of waiting can foster frustration and regret. The truth is that the perfect time is not a precondition. It is created through decisive action, courage, and persistence. Those who begin now, even with limited resources or incomplete knowledge, learn faster, adapt, and build confidence with every step. Momentum transforms uncertainty into opportunity and imperfection into experience, making action today infinitely more valuable than waiting for a flawless future. Knowledge is powerful only when it is applied, and yet so many people fall into the trap of accumulating information without taking meaningful action. They read books, watch videos, attend seminars, or listen to podcasts about wealth, business, or investing. But the insights never leave their minds. Knowledge without execution is like owning a map, but refusing to leave home. You may understand the path to success, but understanding alone does not move you forward. Every lesson, every strategy, and every tip has value only when it is put into practice, tested, and adapted in real-world conditions. Without action, knowledge remains dormant, and potential remains unrealized. One of the reasons people hoard knowledge without executing is fear. Fear of failure, fear of making mistakes, or fear of taking responsibility. They convince themselves that learning more will eventually prepare them for a perfect start. But preparation without implementation is procrastination in disguise. The truth is that understanding a concept intellectually is not the same as mastering it through action. Only by applying what you know, even imperfectly, do you begin to uncover nuances, solve problems, and gain the experience necessary to create results. Ideas are seeds, but execution is what allows them to grow. Another reason knowledge fails without action is overthinking. People spend so much time analyzing what they have learned that they become paralyzed by options, hypothetical outcomes, and possible failures. They read about investing strategies, marketing techniques, or business models, but every decision feels risky, so they wait for perfect certainty that never arrives. Action eliminates overthinking by converting abstract ideas into tangible results. Testing, adjusting, and learning from real experience provides clarity that no amount of theoretical knowledge can achieve. Execution turns potential into progress, and progress into momentum. Knowledge without execution also fails to create leverage. Understanding how to grow wealth, build a business, or develop a skill does nothing if the ideas are never implemented. Financial freedom, opportunity, and growth are created by those who act consistently, applying what they know while adapting to feedback from the real world. Even imperfect execution produces outcomes, lessons, and insights that reading alone cannot provide. Every step taken creates compounding effects over time, building experience, confidence, and credibility that no amount of passive learning can replicate. Finally, execution develops a mindset that knowledge alone cannot. The act of doing teaches resilience, problem-solving, and decision-making. It forces you to confront obstacles, adapt strategies, and persevere despite setbacks. Knowledge provides the blueprint, but execution constructs the reality. Wealth, opportunity, and success favor those who translate understanding into action, who move when others hesitate, and who implement when others only learn. Without execution, knowledge is merely decoration, impressive in theory but powerless in practice. In the end, the reason most people remain broke isn't a lack of opportunity, talent, or knowledge. It's the absence of decisive action, relentless focus, and consistent habits. Excuses, fear, hesitation, and waiting for perfect conditions quietly steal your potential every day. True wealth is built by those who take responsibility, act boldly, and implement what they know, even when the path feels uncertain. Every small step matters, every action compounds, and every lesson learned brings you closer to financial freedom. Your breakthrough begins the moment you choose action over delay, focus over distraction, and execution over endless planning. So take what you've learned, apply it relentlessly, and don't let fear, doubt, or excuses stand in your way. The life you dream of, the financial freedom you seek, and the success you deserve are waiting for you to claim them. Step forward with courage, embrace action, and watch how momentum transforms your results. Good luck on your journey, and thank you for investing your time and energy into creating a better, more prosperous future. Remember, the power to change your financial story has always been in your hands.